Welcome to the Onstage Podcast, where we deep dive into the power of music and entertainment. Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Onstage Podcast. You do not believe who we have on our platform today. Bob Houghton music. He lives in Meridian, Idaho, and he first got into playing music.
Actually, it's Houghton, Bob Houghton.
Houghton?
Yeah. Bob Houghton, and it's Meridian, Idaho.
Houghton. Something about Bob, though. He first got into playing music in his early 20s, playing bass in cover bands and original bands. And after attending many hard rock concerts, I can imagine who those rock concerts were, he felt the need to get into writing his own songs. He taught himself some guitar, built at home studio, and that's when the real journey began and still continues on. He has an album called Beyond the Realm and an album called Alternate Dimensions, but we will discuss. So, Bob, you talk about creating your own home studio. Is that the one that you built there behind you?
Yes. Yeah. This, if you look in the camera, you can see the part of it behind me, but I've got a full drum set, amplifiers, full recording, setup. I'm in a band also. It's called the Wayne Byerly Band. And we do all originals. We do the songs that were written by Wayne Byerly. And I play bass in that band. And whenever we rehearse at my studio here. And I record the band, and so it works out pretty good.
I love the background there, Bob. This is amazing. Look, you got your keyboards.
Yeah.
And you have, I think that's a sound pad. That's where you can make sounds and other instruments.
Right.
And then see what you can learn from all the other artists I've been interviewing all these times. You learn a lot. Lava lamp in the background there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're a lava lamp person. Wow.
I grew up in the 70s. What can I say?
Oh, me too. Me too, Bob. Yeah. Me too. I'd like to ask you, what inspired you to become a musician?
When I was in high school, I loved music, loved rock and roll. And for some reason, I just never had the desire to learn how to play the guitar or the bass. But I really enjoyed music. So I went to concerts, went to a lot of, rock concerts, Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, that kind of stuff. And I just really enjoyed music. And then one day I went over to a friend's house, and he had a little band, and they were playing in their living room. And the guy that was playing bass and singing, he was having a hard time coordinating singing and playing bass at the same time. So I was just sitting there listening to him, and he says, "Can you play bass?" And I said, "No, I've never even tried to play an instrument." And he said, "Well, let me show you a couple things on the bass and see if you can do it." So he showed me a couple of things on the song they were doing. And so I did it and did a pretty good job. And he said, "Wow, you sound pretty good. Why don't you take the bass home and just kind of practice a little bit?" So I did, and that's how I got started into music, playing instruments. So once I started doing that, I just kind of got the bug to, start writing my own music, and that's kind of where it started.
It's amazing. Let me guess, the very first piece of music that you played on your bass guitar was
Actually, it was You Really Got Me by Van Halen.
Oh, really?
You really got me. You really got me. That's the song that they were doing. He was at a hard time with singing and playing at the same time. So that was the very first song.
How many riffs do you think you know on your bass guitar off by heart now?
Oh gosh, I don't offhand. I don't know. I've got a lot. I mean, I played in a lot of cover bands. That's where I started, just playing in cover bands, and we would do occasionally in the bands I was in. We would do some originals, and whenever we would come up with an original, nobody would really have any lyrics to go with the originals. So I was always the one that would write the originals or write the lyrics to go with the originals, and that's where I started really getting into recording and wanting to make my own songs. But I was always into recording and just writing my own lyrics.
That's awesome. Can you tell me, have you ever tried to attempt Thunderstruck?
I haven't tried that. No, no.
Okay, but that seems to be a difficult playing piece, I think.
Hmm.
But now I'd like to ask you about your song, The Path. Now, you have interesting lyrics here. I want to ask you about it. For one thing, I ask all these artists if is it through experience when they come up with a song. So The Path has something maybe to do with your experience. You have the line take a break from the hustle and the bustle of the daily grind. I'm going to walk away from the rat race. I'm going to leave it all behind. What rat race and leave what all behind? Can you explain that? What your whole songwriting process is all about?
That particular song was actually one that I did. Um, I belong to the Idaho Songwriters Association,
Hmm.
and they have this collaboration with a local art company in Boise. And what they do is they'll send a piece of art, a painting. You'll get a picture of a painting that an artist did, and then they take one of my original songs and they'll send that to an artist, and an artist will create a new piece of art using that song as a inspiration. And
Mm.
then also I will get a piece of art that they created, and then I will write a song from that piece of art. So the path is one. There was a painting I got that was a kind of a pathway through some trees,
Mm.
and that's where I got the idea of going through this pathway and past the river birch trees. Yeah, that's kind of where that song came about, how it came about.
That sounds like
But
that painting by Dante called "The Road Not Taken." It's sort of like that. So, what path are
yeah,
you gonna?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, very similar to that.
I
Yeah,
really love this.
I just kind of looked at the painting, and I saw this pathway, and that when I was trying to figure out the lyrics, what kind of lyrics I was going to do, that just those just kind of started coming out when I was looking at the painting. So it definitely made an inspiration.
Yeah. The chorus goes, I'm taking that narrow path home through the shadows of the river birch trees, just taking my time so I can feel even more than I can see. I'm taking this lonely path home past the shadows of the river birch trees. Beautiful piece of work, Bob.
Thank you
Beautiful.
very much. Thank you very much.
I love it so much. It's amazing. Uh, yeah, that's so another way of songwriting process is I've heard from artists, so they say that they go out and if they see like the sun, they see trees and animals, say, oh, I got a line for lyric. Or one artist said, I just have to think of a title and then I write the song around that. So what do you think is
Mhm.
more easier for you? The title, the lyrics, or the actual music?
I usually start with lyrics. I'll get an idea. For an example, I was sitting out in my backyard. Uh, we've got a big shed out in the backyard, and from where I was sitting, I was just looking inside the window and into the shed. And because of the shadows, I could kind of see almost look like a zombie in the shed. As I think I'll write a song about zombies in the shed. And so I actually wrote a song. There's a zombie hanging out in my shed, um, uh, and that's how it started, and then I just kind of went from there. So I'll start with some lyrics, and then kind of figure out what I want to do for the music to go with them, and start playing around on the guitar or keyboards or whatever. And I usually write the song using the guitar. That seems to work better for me.
Okay.
But yeah, or I also wrote a song just when we were taking my wife and I were taking our dogs for walks around the neighborhood. I'd see packages on people's front porch that were left there from UPS or whatever, and I just started thinking about porch pirates. I thought, I thought that'd be kind of cool to write a song about porch pirates, so I did. But there is a song and a video out there that I made. It's called Porch Pirates.
Wow. Wow, you're so imaginative, so talented there. That's amazing. So now when you became a musician, you really wanted to get into down and dirty and melodies and harmonies and music and lyrics. What do you think? Who are the musicians that you think influenced your style the most?
Oh, I would say, like Geddy Lee. I really like his bass playing, uh, and the lyrics for the band Rush were just really interesting lyrics. I really enjoyed that. Um, that would be one of them. Even like Iron Maiden, I was really into Iron Maiden, and I really enjoyed the lyrics that they came up with. And, there's probably a bunch of other bands that influenced my lyrics, but I just can't think of them right off the top of my head.
It's amazing. Well, everyone, before we continue, everyone, Porch Pirate is on the Beyond the Realm album that came out last year.
Mm-hmm.
So we will link everything down below. And Stink Eye is Beyond the Realm as well. So I'd like to be interested in knowing the challenges you faced in your music career, like the blocks.
One of the biggest challenges that I've found is just finding people to play music with that want to stick around and continue to work with you and collaborate with you. I've been in a lot of bands, and sometimes we put a band together, and we do maybe one gig, and then the band would just kind of fall apart after that. But yeah, there was one gentleman that I came across. He was a singer-songwriter and amazing musician, really, really good musician, good vocalist, good guitar player. And he got a hold of me one day and he says, "Hey, I got a bunch of songs." He said, I'd love to record them, but I don't have any money. And I said, "Oh, come over to my home studio. I'll just record them for you. It's no problem." So we became really good friends. And I probably have, I'd say 20, 25 of his songs that I've recorded. And I created a Reverbnation page and a Soundcloud page to put his songs on. And then one day he came over to my house to pick up his guitar amp that he had left over here. And he picked it up. The next day I went on to Facebook and I read a post from his girlfriend that he had committed suicide. Ooh. So that really tore me up. That was a really tough time.
Wow.
Yeah, he was so talented, and it was just so sad. It was just such a waste.
So, what do you think it is about? I mentioned that though about musicians who take their life. For instance, Chester Bennington and Michael Hutchence. Chester Bennington, of course, is the lead singer of Linkin Park. But why do you suppose they have everything? Even like Chester I think he had 6 kids and a wife and beautiful family, wonderful life, but he still wanted to do himself in. I don't get that. So did you ever find out the reason why your friend did that?
I knew that he was kind of bipolar. He would go into some deep depressions. There'd be times that I wouldn't hear from him for weeks, and then all of a sudden he would resurface, and he would be, seem like he was okay. And there were times that he would come over to my house to jam or work on, one of his songs, and he would come over, and I could tell he was just in a really dark place, and he was really down. And by the time we got done jamming, it was just a 180. He was just happy again, and music makes a big difference. It really does. And I found that in my life too. It's just I would be, I suffer with depression. A lot of people do, and there were times that I would get really depressed, and music was something that really helped pull me out of that dark place. And it just really helps a lot.
God will also do that too.
True, very true.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm bipolar or I have a mental illness or anything, but I have been depressed. Now I know the difference between depressed when it comes to depression and depressed when it's just generally sad, which are two different things. But it's terrible when you hear about that, especially people you think have wonderful lives, great job, whatever. And like I've experienced that with friends. It's just terrible. So when it comes to music, Bob, how do you handle the creative blocks especially when you were with your friend or others, or even yourself when you're like, for instance, Stink Eye Zombies or The Path or whatever? How do you handle creative blocks when you have them?
I take a break. I just take time off. If I'm get to a point where I'm working on a new song or whatever, and I get maybe a verse and a chorus, and then I just can't think of anything else to go to continue the song. I'll just kind of put it on a shelf, walk away, take a couple weeks off or a few weeks off, and not even think about it. And then for some reason, I'll think about, well, maybe I should take a listen to that song again. I don't even remember what lyrics I had, and I'll start listening to it again or start looking at the lyrics again, and eventually things will start coming back to me, and I'll get to a point where I can start finishing the song. So, but I think for me, just taking a break, it tends to help, and going back into it with a fresh mind.
What do you think is your favorite piece that you performed or written?
I think probably the first song I ever wrote and recorded was called Mr. Right. It's about basically women looking for Mr. Right, but Mr. Close Enough would do tonight. That was the basic lyric of it. I still play that song, whenever I do an open mics or whatever. I still enjoy playing that. But that was the very, very first song that I wrote, and I wrote it with a friend of mine. He had a guitar part that he had come up with, and I said, "Hey, I've got some lyrics that I wrote that I don't really have a guitar part for it yet." So we kind of sat down together and worked out the different parts of the song, and kind of that's how that came together. But we were good friends, and he was a drummer in a in a band that I was in. We were doing originals and covers, and that was one of the songs that we did. But that's probably one of the ones that I really enjoy.
I can imagine, like, especially when you're sitting down and you're trying to work on a song, you get through these creative blocks. Is there any time when you just say, you know what, you throw the pen up or whatever you use, or a stylus up in the air, say, I give up, and walk away? You ever thought of that at some points?
I have. I've gotten to the point where sometimes you just get frustrated. For me, the frustration too is when you create a song and you mix it and you master it and you think it sounds really good, and then you post it on Facebook or YouTube or Spotify or whatever, and then no one seems to care to listen to it. It's like you put all this work into the song, and then no one really seems to care. And then I think, why do I do this? Why do I even bother? But I don't give up. I keep doing it, and I'm still doing it.
Don't give up. Things will work out. But
yeah, you never know.
I'd be interested in knowing what Every Day, Every Hour is about, by the way.
Every day, every hour, every week of the year, I'm in love with you. I wrote that song for my wife. I think it was, I believe when we were dating, looking out the window, staring at the moonlight shining down from the sky. And I just started thinking about her, and that's kind of how it came together. So I basically wrote it for my wife, Jill.
So what do you feel about love songs?
A lot of my songs are love songs. I mean, there are some that are kind of quirky, like the Stink Eye songs, Zombies. Those are kind of quirky, but I enjoy writing love songs. I start thinking about things that I've had, relationships I've had in the past or whatever, and things that went wrong or didn't go quite right or whatever, and it kind of helps with coming up with lyrics to create a song with.
How do you know that a certain song needs a particular instrument? Let's say you have the keyboards, and then you have your guitar, and then you have bass guitar, you have a Fender, whatever you have, or a piano, or a trumpet, and you say, wait a minute, the trumpet doesn't belong in there. Mm-hmm. How do you know it doesn't belong in there? Maybe it sounds better with the trumpet. What are your thoughts on that?
When I'm putting a song together and I'm recording, adding different tracks, I'll experiment. I'll just try different things. And like you said, if I had a keyboard sound or whatever, and it doesn't sound, to me, it doesn't sound right. Maybe to someone else, it might sound okay. But if it doesn't sound right to me, then I don't really want it in the song. so I just experiment. I'll try different things. Sometimes I'll try I'll just put like put a shaker in there and I listen to it and no, that doesn't work. Or yeah, that'll work. So I'll leave it in, or I'll modify it or whatever. Or
Yeah.
I'll look around. Sometimes I'll look around the studio and I think, what else can I put in there? Oh, I've got some hand drums, so I'll try hand drums and those sound pretty good or whatever. They'll sound good in this part of the song, but they're not working in this part of the song. So I'll just have them in this certain part of the song. And I just got to experiment. That's for me, that's the fun part in songwriting, is just experimenting with different sounds and different instruments. I'll put a guitar part, maybe I'll put like 2 or 3 or 4 different guitar parts into the song. And one part doesn't sound right or doesn't fit, and I'll just try something else and just keep experimenting, just keep trying different things until I'm happy with it and the song is created.
If you could collaborate with any particular artist out there on a song, who would it be?
Probably let me think here. Alan Parsons.
Alan Parsons, my favorite.
Because
Wow.
if you listen to some of my songs, you can kind of hear some similarities between what he does. Probably because I listen to his songs so much, and of course Pink Floyd. He produced the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, and you can't get much better than that. But I just really like his work.
I think you could do a really good cover song of "Eye in the Sky." I think that'd be perfect for you. That's my favorite song.
Yeah.
Sky. Or "Time" is another one of my favorites.
Yeah.
"Please Answer Me" is another. Oh yeah, you could probably do them, no problem. Since you were part of a cover band, you'd have no problem putting them together.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it could. Yeah, I just really enjoy his music, and just the way he layers everything. If you listen to his songs, there's just layers of so many things going on in the songs, and I kind of tend to do that too. I kind of tend to layer different tracks into the song, and it's kind of, I think he was a big influence in my songwriting, actually.
Bob, that's very interesting. When you perform live, how do you prepare for performance? Do you have any particular routines or rituals?
Practicing to where I get to a point where I'm comfortable playing whatever songs we're doing, whether it be cover songs or originals. Practice enough to where I don't think that I'm going to make a mistake or I'm going to, forget where I'm going. If I get to that point where I'm really, feel good about it, then I don't get nervous. It just, like, go on stage and I don't really get butterflies or anything. I just get up there with the band and we start playing, and hopefully make it through the whole set without having any mistakes or anything go wrong. But I think for me anyway, that works pretty well. Just to really practice and make sure I'm comfortable with the songs and know that I'm not going to forget where I'm going or hit the wrong note or something like that.
Well, I've watched a lot of comedians, a lot of singers, a lot of guitarists, and I noticed that there's one thing that everyone has, and that's a stool with water on it. Do you have a stool or something beside you with water so you don't have to get up and get it?
I usually have a water or whatever. I have it set on my amp, right, sitting on top of my amp, so that I can just turn around basically and take some water or whatever. And usually when I'm performing, I don't usually sit down. I usually like to stand up. If I'm doing just some solo stuff, sometimes I'll sit down. Just as easier.
Bob, how do you engage with your fans or people? How do you present yourself? I'm available to talk. You want to ask me questions. How do you mingle and connect with your fan base?
Mostly on social media, Facebook, quite a bit. Go on there and just post different things that I'm working on, or post a song that I'm just finished and getting ready to upload onto whatever platform. So yeah, mostly on Facebook, and that's like going back to what I was saying before. Is kind of sometimes disappointing when people don't listen to what I'm working on, if I'll post a song that I just finished and I spent weeks creating the song or longer, and I'll post the song and say, this is a song I just finished, and post it thinking that people will listen to it and enjoy it or whatever. And you see, very, very little response, if
Mm.
any. And I've got like, 1,300, Facebook friends, and you get like one like or two likes and no comments, no shares. I thought,
Mm.
oh, why do I even bother? Sometimes,
I know that's sad. Like, don't give up, because I know a musician who just wrote in a Facebook post saying, I had enough. I'm giving up music. Pay forward more money than I do receive it. So she just put everything away and just stopped. And I'm like, you don't have to do that, because one day something's going to happen. You're going to be playing, a record producer, whatever, will come up to you and say, and then you'll be out there doing whatever, but never give up, because I mean, that's where the hard work comes. So never give up, Bob, because eventually what's going to happen is somebody's going to say, hey, Geddy Lee would love to do a collab with you.
Oh yeah,
Alan Parsons. Oh yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
Why not?
I've always, kind of told myself, to not give up, to just to do that, just keep doing what I do, keep writing songs and recording, because I enjoy doing that. And the band that I'm in now, I'm the one that does all the recording for the band.
Mm.
And then when we rehearse, this last rehearsal we did, I recorded everything, and the song sounded really good. And I posted a bunch of videos on YouTube of us, because I had the camera going, so I recorded our performance, our rehearsal, and we sounded really good. So I always do that, and I'm the one that does all the promoting for the band as well. You do everything on Facebook and look for gigs for the band. But we're only doing Wayne's songs right now. Eventually, we're going to add some of my songs into our set list.
What do you see your playlist whenever you go play in a venue? Do you have a set list? Like, what's your opener and what's your closer?
Um, don't really have a set list per se. I mean, a predetermined list. Um, Most recently, this last band the band I'm in right now, the last this gig we did, we just kind of sat down and figured out what songs we want to do, and figure out which song would sound best to begin the set with. And then the last song we tried to end the song with his set with a song called God's Children. This is my friend Wayne's song that he
Mhm.
wrote. It's called God's
Oh,
Children. It's very upbeat, and it's got a good message. So we usually try to end our set with that. But when I'm doing my songs, I don't really have a definite set. I just kind of wing it, play by ear kind of thing.
so if someone asked you, can you play da 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 da? Would you be able to play it? Would you say, no, sorry, I don't know that one. Next.
Yeah, I don't have very many covers that I know. I mean, when I was in bands playing bass, I knew a lot of cover songs, but doing now with being totally into original songs,
Mm-hmm.
if someone said, can you play blah 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 this cover song, and I said, no, I don't really know any cover songs anymore. It's been many years since I've even played cover songs, because I'm just so into the originals, writing my own songs and helping other people write their own songs, and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. It's just I enjoy the songwriting process, and it's just really interesting to see start just when you start with an idea, something that you've got, a thought, or maybe the beginning of a lyric to work with, and you start out, and then when you get it finished and you listen back to it, and it's like, wow, this started out as just a sentence basically, and now I've got a full song, and it's really kind of amazing, that you can create something like that.
So I guess you're opposed to creating music with AI, or no?
um I haven't thought about it that much. I know there are people that are starting to use AI more and more to create songs. I think that kind of takes the the personality of the song is created by whoever wrote the song. And if you're using AI created lyrics or whatever you're using the AI for, it kind of just takes away from the song. It just you don't have the feeling that the song should have, I think, anyway. So I enjoy doing myself.
Yeah, I agree with you. I literally heard, I was watching a YouTube video, and it was based with this like Udio and then a Suno, and there's a few other um, AIs that can create music. And the prompt would be about this girl who falls in love with an elephant and blah blah blah, and it comes up with this song with lyrics it created. It's a pretty good song, even though I don't like falling in love with an elephant. But basically, um, AI can come up with anything, and I know that the human talent and intellect and everything isn't there. It's just like type in the prompt, boom, it comes up with a song, and there you go. And you just sit down and you eat potato chips, and you're the one that gets all the money. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah,
fair, I know.
yeah.
But AI was used to create that song now and then, the final and last Beatles song. So it can be
Yeah,
used for
yeah,
good.
yeah. Yeah, I guess they took John Lennon's piano part and vocal,
Yeah,
and they used AI to separate those so they could
yeah,
create the rest of the song out of that.
yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely AI has definitely got some potential there, but I guess it could be abused too. Somebody just wants to create songs and make money from them creating songs with AI. Then I don't think that's right.
Would you be opposed to writing songs and just like there's a lot of musicians out there in bands, and I know that Prince and I think Michael Jackson, they have songs still in their vault, and you could probably release 10 or 15 more Prince albums with the songs that is it, would you be opposed to just writing songs and putting them in a vault, and maybe one day hey, do you have any songs we can make an album for you? What is it? Hey, yeah, here you go. Here's 12 of them. Or
Hmm.
do you just like to do one song here, one song there?
No, I think that's definitely an option. Because I've like my friend that I was telling you about that passed away. I've got probably 25 of his songs on my computer hard drive
Hmm.
that have never been released. No one except him and I have heard basically. And one of these days, I do want to do something with those. I want to get them, out onto some kind of a platform
Yeah.
where people can hear them. But but yeah, I don't think there's any problem with doing that. If you got songs that are just like been sitting on the shelf for years and years, why not get them out there and get them out where people can hear them?
I totally agree. What do you hope to achieve in the next 5 years? Or we'll just say, what do you hope to achieve this time next year?
Um, just continue to write songs. I want to maybe try and get into uh, sync licensing. Get some of my songs maybe possibly on to movies or TV show
Mhm.
or something like that. I think that would be kind of cool. I haven't really gotten into that yet, but I think that would be kind of neat to, if you're watching a movie or whatever, and all of a sudden a song that you wrote is being
Yeah,
played on there, that'd be kind of cool.
yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, I like to meet somebody who actually he's the one that actually writes music for soundtracks and
Hmm.
find out how he does it. It'd be kind of interesting. But
Hmm.
there's some that actually will buy your song. Like I know someone who, they offered 1.5 million for their song for Disney movie,
Oh wow, wow.
but you know, where's the money? Where's the
Yeah,
money?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It would be nice. That would be nice to
yeah,
make money. I haven't made much money with my songs. Streaming. You have to stream so many songs, so stream
yeah.
so many times to make anything. And the music industry has really changed from
Hmm.
back the way it was, before the internet, basically.
I know it's terrible what's happening with a lot of artists out there. Like they're not even getting paid the proper amount. Like for instance, 1 billion streams for "Toxic" by Britney Spears,
Yeah.
And there's a song by, I don't know if you ever heard of Post Malone, but there's a really cool song, like billion streams here, billion streams there. But how much really do you get?
I think I saw something where a billion streams would give the artist like $40,000 for a billion streams. That's crazy.
Wow.
But yeah,
it's crazy.
It is. It really is.
So, so what kind of memorable feedback have you received from a fan or critic?
I get a lot of people that, some of the songs like that Stink Eye Zombie song, they just they crack up sometimes when they're listening to it, and they enjoy the thought that goes into the lyrics of the song, and they get a kick out of it. But yeah, I get a lot of positive feedback for most of my songs that people listen to them, which makes you feel good, of course.
What's your attitude when someone gives you negative feedback? Like, they're an awful songwriter. Oh my God, you must have been drunk when you wrote that. Stuff like that. What was the reaction?
Fortunately, I don't get too much of that, but I do take it as constructive criticism. Somebody says, "Oh man, that doesn't sound right," or whatever it is. They'll say something about the song, and I'll listen to it again and think about what they said, and think, yeah, maybe they're right. Maybe I should do something different in that part of the song, or change it up a little bit. So I try and take it with a grain of salt, that kind of thing.
Do you think your music has evolved since you started playing?
I think it has. Not sure exactly how, but I think it has evolved. I've become a better songwriter over the years, just from writing songs and listening back to them and thinking that song doesn't sound right. I should do something different, or whatever. I just think over the years of writing songs, you get better.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you think you want to stick with your genre, your rock genre? You ever thought of making like a classical tune? I know that Billy Joel wrote a whole album of just classical music. How do you feel about just saying, you know what, forget this rock, forget jazz. I'm just going to write a pure classic music, no vocals, no singing. Boom. Would you be able to do that?
Probably not. I'm really a rocker from way back, and I just enjoy writing rock songs. Maybe I can get a little bit more mellower on some of the songs, like something a little more mellow. But I've always enjoyed rock music, and I probably always will. And I don't think I would be into writing songs that are of different genre, other than different rock songs. There's that song we were talking about earlier, "The Path." I'm actually in the process of writing a song for the same program, but it's for this year. The Path was for last year. I'm writing a song for one for this year, and my wife says, "So are you going to write a rock song, or are you going to write something more mellow or whatever?" I said, "I'm not sure yet. Kind of depends on how things flow." I thought, I probably should do something more on the mellow side, and sure enough, it ended up being more of a rock song, or it's got some hard rock sound to it, and like 4 guitar tracks. But yeah, I enjoy rock. I enjoy rock music, and growing up in the '70s and going to heavy metal concerts, that just kind of, I guess that's kind of stuck with me over the years.
What makes it a rock song? Like, for instance, I think it was Jimmy Page or Robert Plant's 75th birthday. Think of this: a choir sang a symphonic version of "Stairway to Heaven." Is it still a rock song, or is it now a classical song? What changes it if you make like one of your songs a jazz song? Is it still a rock song?
That's a good question. I suppose it's still a rock song, it's just being done in a different way. But yeah, that is a good question. I would say it's still basically a rock song. They just kind of changed it up a little bit. there's that particular song, "Stairway to Heaven," is just a phenomenal song. It's just an incredible song.
Mhm.
One of my absolute favorite songs. But yeah, I do like it when they do take a song like that and they do a chorus. Have
Mhm.
people singing that just sounds beautiful. It sounds really really nice.
So is it still a rock song then? If symphony and choir does it?
I think it is. I think it's still basically a rock song, but it just sounds different. It sounds different when you have a symphony or it. I mean, technically, it probably has changed the song, but I still think it's deep down inside, it's still kind of a rock song.
Okay, think about this little scenario I'm going to give you. Okay, you're gonna laugh at this. David Foster knocks on your door. Hi, Bob. You know who I am. I'm David Foster, right? World's famous. Anyway, we love your song "Kicking In" or "Every Day, Every Hour," and I would like to turn it into one of the best symphonic orchestra songs ever. Well, would it be that one, or if well, would you say no, not "Every Day, Every Hour"? It would be "Boo," would be a perfect symphony song. Which one would that be?
Um, I would well, for like a symphony song. Gosh, I don't know. Um, Maybe "Every Day, Every Hour" would be a good song. I
Hmm.
mean, I would say if David Foster was inquiring, I would say you tell me what you like. you're
Good
you're
job.
the expert. But yeah, I think probably "Every Day, Every Hour" might be a good one to do something like that with it.
And then he's like, "Oh no, Bob, I didn't come alone. Britney Spears is here. Taylor Swift is here. They want to work with you." I can imagine
that would
then your
that would be
attitude would be
nice.
different.
Absolutely, yes. They can have their choice of any of my songs.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
So, what do you think sets you apart from other musicians? Like, what sets you apart from Geddy Lee? What sets you apart from David Hodge from Evanescence? What sets you apart from Paul McCartney? What makes you so unique, Bob?
Life experiences, just things that have happened in my life that haven't happened in other people's lives, um, which kind of when I write a song and how what I life experiences that help me create the lyrics to create the song. So I think that's the big difference is just things that happen in your life compared in my life compared to other people's lives. Because that's where I get most of my lyrics is just from life experiences, different things that go on in my life. So I'm sure that's probably true for other people. You know, they have certain life experiences and things that happen in their lives, and that's probably where they draw on some of those experiences for song lyrics.
Do you get a lot of encouragement from your family, like your wife?
Yeah, she's encouraged. She encourages me. Um, she doesn't go overboard, but she does. She does appreciate what I do, I think, and she definitely encourages me. I spend probably a lot more time up here in my studio than
Hmm.
I should, and she'll be downstairs, watching TV. So I don't spend as much time with her as I should because I'm always working on some kind of a project, mixing a song or writing a song or whatever I'm doing. And so she's okay with it. She understands. She understands that it is a time consuming thing that I do, and I try and spend as much time as I can, with her. And downstairs we'll watch TV together or whatever. But she understands that it's time consuming, and it is. Just especially when you're mixing a song and you're trying to get the mix to sound right, and you're adding tracks to it or taking away tracks, and experimenting with different sounds, and it just takes time to get everything dialed in. And then I'll think I've got everything sounding the way I want it to sound, and then I'll shut everything down for the night, next day or next evening or whatever, I'll come back and listen to it, and I'll think, what was I thinking? It doesn't sound good.
Hmm.
And start over, or start redoing what I spent time working on. It's a never-ending process. It just seems to, evolve. Songs that I write just tend to evolve over a period of time. Just coming back and listening to them, and doing like self critique of what I recorded, and I'll think that doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound the way I want it to sound. So I'll go back and try something else, and I might have 20 tracks that are all muted that I tried different things, and that didn't work. Get that track out of there. That's muted. And then try something else. Hey, that works. I'm going to leave that in there, and then whatever tracks finally get to stay in the song, and when I finally get completed, feel that the song is completed, then those are the tracks that end up staying. But getting to the point of feeling the song is complete is it seems like it takes forever. You're always listening back, and you listen back to it and go, oh, I don't know, something just doesn't quite sound right, and you go back and you'll tweak it and you listen back to it later, and I don't know, something else doesn't quite sound right, so getting to the point where I can say, okay, it's done. I'm going to release it, I'm going to upload it or whatever. It just, when I finally get to that point, it's like, still, even then, when I release the song and I've listened back to it, man, I should have done something different in that part, or something like that. It seems like it never ends.
I can imagine that. Yeah, I heard that Jimmy Page was under the influence of Satan, and he wrote like Stairway to Heaven in 15 minutes. I don't know if that's true, because I know, for one thing, God created all music. And another thing is, I don't know if we have a recording studio called Metalworks. Nelly Furtado, Prince, all bunch of other musicians, even Drake recorded the album there. So it's like 20 minutes from here. And I went on 2 tours down there. And I was talking to the guy that handles, the mixing and everything. And you have like the one singing the song with the headset and a microphone in the booth there, and he's got all these like levers to do this and do that. And I asked him, how long does it take to actually do an album? He said almost a year. But the one thing that he said, it takes like 6 months just to record one song. So would you say that was too long? Or do you think is there a song that you created under 5 minutes?
No, most of the songs that I do take, weeks, if not months.
Okay.
So I can see where 6 months would, be definitely something that is a possibility, because, like I say, you're always adding things or taking things away, changing things, or coming up with different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it depends also on how much time you want to invest. Each session you're doing, how much time you want to invest into what you're doing. But yeah, it can definitely take months.
Yeah. Was there a time when you want to share with us, the audience, an experience where you had to adapt quickly during a performance?
Not that I can recall. I mean, just as far as like, when someone would change something in the song and I'd have to change along with them, kind of thing.
Oh, really? Wow.
That would, if somebody would, like, if I knew the song was going would have a certain pattern or whatever, and then the guitar player or whatever would change it up, and I'd have to do something different on the bass to go along with what the guitar player was doing, even though it's not part of the song. So I've done stuff like that. So sometimes you have to kind of just think on your feet when you're performing.
Yeah, just never have any performance, public performance, whatever, on April 1st, because somebody's one day going to pull a prank on you, the April Fools, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you never know. You just never know. I was in a cover band one time, and we had a party that we were at, and the lead guitar player had a drinking problem, but he had been sober for quite a while.
Hmm.
And at this party, they had an open bar, so he decided to have some drinks, and he hadn't had drinks in years, and so he he got drunk and he was on stage and we were performing, and then he got really bad. He was really gone, and he started falling over stuff, and then he tripped over something, and he
Oh, wow.
dropped his guitar, and he landed on the drum set, and
Oh.
it was embarrassing. It was so embarrassing.
As long as he didn't pick up his electric guitar and bash it on the ground like many of these are. Like, I think Ozzy Osbourne did that once. Just, I don't know why they do that. Like, I asked a few artists, and they said it's just for, what do you call it? Aesthetics. It's like, okay, I'm a rock star, so I'm supposed to wreck my guitar on the stage, you know?
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but
Like
it's
Pete,
not money, dude.
like Pete Townsend in the
Yeah.
Who. You know, he was famous for smashing his guitars. It seems like such a waste. You know, why would you do that to a guitar?
I know. That I told one artist, I said, you know, why don't they just have a company that create these guitars made out of balsa wood, which are specifically for smashing. So you
Yeah,
can
there
smash
you
it
go.
all you want. That's a good
Yeah,
idea. He said, that's a good idea. So, you know, let's market it. As long as I get 10%, Bob.
exactly. There you go. There you go.
So, what advice would you give to aspiring musicians? Somebody walked up there and said, I want to do what you do. I want to be a musician. What's the first word of advice you give them?
Um, I would say if you get frustrated and you feel like giving up, don't give up. You need to keep at it. There are times that I've kind of felt like giving up, and I didn't. I just stuck with it, and I'm still doing it. And so I would say, if you get frustrated and you think it's not worth continuing and not worth continuing to try, um, then just don't give up. Just take a break, then go back to it when you feel like going back to it. And I guess that would be my advice.
And is that the advice you would actually follow if you were the one that went up to a musician and asked that question?
I think so. I think so. I think I would follow that advice.
Is that the best advice you've ever received about music, or is there something you want to share?
Let's see. Besides that, I can't really think of anything else to share. That's that's the only advice I can really think of off the top of my head.
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity to interview you, everyone. Everything will be linked down in the description, including his Spotify, and there's some cool music links as well. And Bob, thank you so much for this chance to interview
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Appreciate
you
this.
very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
What can I do for you tomorrow that I haven't done since yesterday? There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and this feeling that won't go away. Seems like we don't always notice all the times that were so good, and we don't always see everything that we should. Hold on to what you believe in. So you think that your life is not complete, and you think there's something missing. You say that you're tired of playing the game. So many more that feel the same. All I can say is I can show you. You don't have to believe everything that you